Yeah. Mr. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Burrows? Can you hear me? Ms. Burrows, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, my mic was off. I'm here.
Mr. Calhoun? Mr. Edwards?
Here.
Mr. Howard? Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Lauderdale? Mr. Coyley?
Here.
Mr. Stafford?
Here.
Ms. Sullivan? And Chair Bonner.
And you can't.
That's in physical home.
Okay, before I ask for next the minutes, I know there's several corrections on the first page. Most of the typos. Where it says borrow means stick, but they have second one. And then on the next page, under item 3, second sentence under funding update, the $70 should be 72. Does anyone else have corrections? So can I get a motion to approve said correction? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Motion carries. The funding request and recommendation for 3112 Northwest 7th Street LLC.
Hi, this is Bob Wojak with the CRA. How are you doing? The CRA has received a funding application from 312 Northwest 7th Street LLC for a $10 million development incentive program for forgivable loans for a 422 units multifamily rental housing mixed income project relocated at 312 Northwest 7th Street in the Progresso Village neighborhood. The project to be constructed directly north of the 613 housing development is between Northwest 7th Street, Northwest 4th Avenue, and Northwest 3rd Avenue and Sisson Boulevard. The 108,000 square foot, 2.48 acre site was assembled by the developer between August 2022 and August 2000, or rather April 2025. The assemblage included a church, which was the first ever Missouri Missionary Christian Church. Also included one residential vacant lots, a duplex, a triplex, and a fourplex. The developer worked closely with the church to find a replacement location. The project site has been rezoned from multi-family, mid-rise, medium density, RMN 25, Northwest Regional Activity Center, mixed use, RHC, in the east between October 2022 and October 2023. The developer is seeking site plan approval for the project with an affordable housing height bonus. They received a second round of comments from the City of Fort Lauderdale Development Review Committee. They expect to have their final Development Review Committee certificate of compliance within the next few months. The proposed project consists of an 8-story mixed-use multifamily development containing 422 rental units, 1,600 square feet of retail, and 508 parking spaces. 559 spaces are in a 7 levels of structured parking. There will also be 21 on-street parking spaces. Proposed unit mix is 48. 328 one-bedroom unit and 46 two-bedroom units. Project includes 43 income-restricted affordable housing units, which would be 10% of all units, with 50% affordable to households at 100% area median income and 50% affordable to households at 80% median. Projected rents for the affordable units will range from $1,614 to $1,683 for an efficiency unit, $1,729 to $1,924 for a one bedroom, and 2,074 to 2,165 for a two-bedroom. The residential unit set aside as affordable will be in perpetuity. In addition, the developer is working with Broward County to secure $5 million from their Broward County Housing Finance Division. If approved, the funding will require an additional 71 affordable income restricted rental units. The remainder of the residential units in the development will be rented at market rate. Market rate units will be approximately 2,200 for a studio, 2,600 for a one bedroom, and 3,100 for a two bedroom apartment. Size of the units is 435 square feet for a studio, 578 to 670 square feet for one bedroom, and 950 to 960 square feet for the two bedroom. Residential unit amenities and features for all apartments will include European style cabinets, quartz countertops, in-unit washer and dryers, stainless steel appliances, and balconies for all units. Project amenities for residents will include a rooftop pool, 3,000 square foot gym, a 3,000 square foot clubhouse on the 8th floor, and ground level amenities will include a green courtyard, co-working space, office station, and 1,600 square feet of retail space. The estimated rent for the retail space will be between $25 to $30. Developer is seeking leads for the project or a national green building standard. Now, in addition to providing affordable housing, the developer in this project is donating as benefit 33,750 square feet, which is 0.77 acres of land to the Fort Lauderdale Community Redevelopment Agency. Property was purchased by them between July 12, 2023 and December 21, 2023 for $1,610,000. The developer estimates the total market value of the property to be $3.04 million. The land is located on Northwest 8th Avenue and Northwest 7th Avenue, south of Sistrum Boulevard, directly west of the recently completed CRA-funded Adderley House Mall. Property is zoned RMF 25, residential multi-family medium density, and the CRA can develop the donated land as they see fit. And the proposed developer estimates that a 50-unit townhouse project developed on the site under its current zone. The developer, 312 Northwest 7th Street LLC, is led by Ted Levinson, Eric Walensky, and Charles Zislin. Ted Levinson and Eric Walensky founded the company called Home Ventures and have made significant investment in assembling other properties for redevelopment in the CRA area. The total estimated project development budget is approximately $138 million. CRA funding for the project represents 7.2% of the total development. The $10 million development incentive program loan, subject to annual budget approval, will be funded over 5 years, starting in fiscal year 25-26, which is also known as fiscal year 26, starting October 1st, 2026, which is the upcoming budget year. CRA funding will be secured by a mortgage on the property, subordinate to first mortgage construction loan and permanent finance. CRA funding will be applied to project construction costs. Developers working with City National Bank for construction financing. The project will start construction in 2026 and be completed by 2028. So the recommendation is that the CRA Advisory Board approve a motion recommending that the CRA Board approve a $10 million development incentive program for River Malone to 312 Northwest 7th Street LLC for 422 units multifamily rental housing mixed-use mixed income project at 312 Northwest 7th Street. Tel Levinson and other members of his team are here to answer any questions. That's Tel right there in the video. And so along with that.
Can we come up and walk through?
Sure, absolutely.
Slide 15 possibly, so I could be
Be sure to state your name for the record.
Pratima Raju and Paul Leviston. There we go. And we'll go back to one more. Thank you, so I'll take over the presentation.
Yeah, so first and foremost, thank you everyone for attending today and allowing us to present the project. I think Bob did a great job at referencing all of the important points that we have that relate to this project. As you can see in the beginning of this slide, that's a rendering of the front of the building. Obviously, we're going to be working towards providing some better renders at a later date. If you go to the next slide, this is a little bit of a history about me and my business partner, Eric, and one of our development partners, Joel Zislin. Eric and I are South Florida natives. We're born in Broward County, lived here most of our lives, and we currently reside in Fort Lauderdale. So investing in our community is a very important thing for us. And along with Joel Zislin, which has a tremendous amount of development experience, kind of joined forces, and that's how we came across putting this site together. These are some of the projects that we've developed with Joel. Some high rises, mid rises, commercial buildings, retail buildings. Okay, and this is an explanation of the project: 422 residential units, 559 structured parking spaces, 1,600 square feet of retail, and approximately 900,000 gross square footage. As we mentioned, we're going to be providing 43 affordable units. The goal at the end of the day is with this grant is to go to the county and get some additional funding so we can provide another 71 affordable units at 80% of AMI or less. And that would bring the total amount of affordable units to around 26% of the project. This is obviously an outline of where the project is located. We're in the Progresso neighborhood, just north of the 613 building.
Yeah, for 613, this is the struck.
And this is a site plan, shows again 422 units, 559 parking spaces, 1,600 square feet of retail, 8 stories, 43 affordable units, and the total budget of 138 million.
Parking garage is here. Oh, sorry. Parking garage is on the south side, units wrapping.
Yeah. Parking garage right there, and then the units wrapping on the north side. And this is the elevation rendering, so you can see same thing. So going from the top image up from the right to the left, structured parking, and then the units, and then from the left side to the right, the same thing. This is the front portion facing Northwest 7th Street. That's the south portion just north of the 613 mall. Okay, and then the amenities on the ground floor, we have landscape courtyard, and have tables, chairs, benches, and umbrellas, co-working spaces, coffee station, and of course the retail space. And then above the structured parking, we're going to have another amenity deck. It's going to be a pool, 3,000 square foot gym, and a 3,000 square foot clubhouse.
Those are located on top of the parking deck.
Yeah. Here you have the different unit layouts. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to have some studios, 1 bedrooms, and 2 bedrooms. We did a deep market analysis and seeing what's attractive, especially in this area, and these are the layouts that we came up with. As far as our timeline goes, acquisition was really based between 2022 and 24. Design and permitting, which are currently still a part of now as we're going through DRC, all the way through to 2026. We're looking to break ground by Q2 of 26 and hopefully finish by the end of 2028. As far as the economic benefits, we're going to be aiming to provide around 610 jobs. It's roughly going to be a little bit more than that. $40 million in real estate taxes, the 43 affordable units that we spoke about, 50% at 80% AMI and 50% at 100% AMI. And then assuming we're able to get the gap funding from the county, the total amount of affordable units will go from 43 to 114.
The county gap funding units would be at 80% AMI.
So, what we decided to do with this project, as far as economic benefits for the community, is do something a little bit different. Most of the projects in this area have a a payment system where they just return a certain amount of the money that they borrow over an extended period of time. What we wanted to do was provide the land grant. As we mentioned earlier, it's 0.77 of an acre just west of the Adderley. We had an architect actually look at this site and lay out 15 townhomes. And the idea behind this is to give the city and the CRA the opportunity to get the benefit, the incentive back up front versus wait over a longer period of time. And ultimately, if the city decided to add more affordable units, it could do so with the site.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman was excited about this because there's an opportunity to put townhomes on there and kind of bring back that mix of single-family homes, townhomes, that the CRA could work with in that area. Mix it out.
Yeah, and we had the site appraised recently, came back at $3 million.
This is what they're rendering, the 15 units.
Yeah, and then originally when we approached the CRA, we wanted to see if there's a way to work out the grant over 3 years, but then obviously realizing that there's some sort of financial constraints, we decided to see if we can spread it out over 5 years to make it a little less impactful. We spoke with the city and the city backed it up and said that this probably would make the most sense. So 10 million over 5 years. Church improvement assistance. I want to thank Will for coming. Thank you very much. Yeah, Will actually is a part of the congregation for one of the other churches that we've worked with within this area. What we found is that in the last few years, there's been a lot of opportunities for developers and for churches to improve their situations by working with us and basically helping them find a place that would make sense for them, right? A lot of these churches went from building structures that were much smaller, much bigger, and then overall land square footage from much smaller, much bigger. The trade-off was working with us, giving us some time to upzone, rezone, work on our plans. And these are 3 pieces that were all mutually beneficial for everyone. And of course, one of which being 312, which was the first Ebenezer Church. Some pictures.
These are their new locations.
There's a support.
If you could go back. These are letters of support from the 3 churches that they worked with to find them.
Just one before it.
To find them better homes and help accommodate what they need, whether it was more parking, bigger congregation space. They helped find the right location that made sense for them. This is also a letter from the Urban League and the restaurant people who do a lot of hospitality for Lauderdale.
Okay. And this breaks down the development budget. Land is around 12 million, design and engineering 2.2 million, permits and licenses around 4 million, other soft costs 7 million, hard costs close to 100 million, inflation contingency at 3.5 million, financial costs around 10 million, which gives us a grand total of roughly 138 million.
If you could scroll through a couple of these appendix slides, keep going. Go back to that slide with the map. Here we go. So this is a map of the current parcels that Tal and Erica were working on. This is the property right here, 312, and this is the land that they're giving back to the CRA right here next to Adder.
Slide.
I think that's it for the presentation. You need to go back to slide 53. Any questions so far?
Before we start doing questions, I'd just like to say that Mr. Burns has submitted with the interest statement. So we'll not vote on the project, but he is able to discussion. That's what this slide's over here. You put it here.
Sorry, 53, slide 53. Sorry, other way.
Well, the presentation is in between other documents, so not all of them are included.
Oh, I'm sorry. So this is
Yeah.
sorry, just 50 over here.
Oh, got it.
Sorry. There you go. This is like the cover letter that summarizes the project and the benefits back.
Okay, any questions or concerns?
I have a question. I have a question.
Who was that? So oh, okay, Sonia.
Just for clarification, that the land grant is, I thought I saw a sign on a piece of that property for a church that was going, another church. Has that changed on Seventh Terrace? And I guess it's, Seventh and Fifth.
Yeah, that's a
Wasn't there
good
a big
question.
sign that said coming soon?
Yeah, that's actually not a part of our site. That's on the southeast
Oh.
corner. Yeah, we're just
Okay.
north of.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
I have a question, I guess, for Clarence.
Mhm.
For the transfer go to the city and then to the CRA or board to the CRA?
Directly to the CRA.
Okay.
For the land transfer?
Mr. Stafford,
Yes, question. As far as the evaluation of the value of the property transferred over, that was valued by a third party, you guys directly by CRA, how was that handled?
Third party.
Third party appraisal.
How do you appraise can be better at that?
I guess another question always is, how will all of those jobs benefit the folks in the community?
So majority of those jobs are construction jobs, right? So they'll just be through the construction period. The full-term job would be the jobs associated with managing the apartment complex. We are flexible working with the CRA to advertise those jobs, advertise jobs and the units. But we could make available any suggestions to help get those construction jobs within the neighborhood.
And also, Chair, what I would say is, we realize that in housing developments, any construction jobs are temporary. That's why we put the additional grant doing some other community benefit, community benefit agreement, so that there is some sort of community benefit beyond, just the construction jobs that will come to residents.
Any other comments, questions?
Question for you, one of the things,
Matthew Cohen, you need to state your name first, because we have somebody reported.
yes, ma'am, Matthew Cohen with a quick question for the applicant here. So one of the things that stood out to me in the application packet here is that, I think we're looking at almost potentially 30% of the project for affordable housing.
26, 27.
And I think that, this is important for maintaining the character of the neighborhood. I think this is important as the city grows, and I'm glad to see it. I wanted to just get a better understanding for how does what we do here today impact your ability to provide that? And to what extent is that going to wind up being, contingent or, dependent on factors going forward? Is this a commitment set in stone? Just help me understand sort of what variables are at play for ensuring that we maintain some affordability in the neighborhood.
Sure. So, we would have some sort of a restriction, as you guys know, for the affordable units.
We will be in perpetuity.
And also going to the county, meaning those additional units.
It's really hard to grab the county gap financing without a city match. We're competing with the rest of the other 30-some cities to get that county funding. And so when the city says, hey, we're willing to put money back, it's easier for us to grab and compete for that county funding to get this project to about 27% affordable. With that county portion being 80% annual.
So our work here today, if this were to go forward, in your view, actually improves the likelihood of these units remaining.
It gives us
affordable.
additional point when we go and apply for the county grant to get that funding
Thank you.
by having a city CRA match, yes. And I don't think a lot of the projects are able to do that without grabbing that county match, with viability of new construction projects.
Absolutely. But I think the question you're asking, it does give, there is, the CRA money provides some affordability, in the project. But because CRA money is in it, they can get additional affordable units by going to the county to help buy down
Right.
some of the cost.
Thank you.
And our goal is to get it by the end of this year, because that county grant comes out starting January, February. We don't have that, we won't be able to apply for that to get that much.
Any other questions, concern?
Yes, Noel Edward. Here, I have two questions. In terms of employment, we use the term employing in the community. What boundary would we consider to be in the community, Broward County or Fort Lauderdale? And I know that's very hard to quantify in terms of enforce, so to speak. And my next question is, how about some set aside for minor contractors to ensure that at least we have some employment directly benefiting from the community?
So with this project, we haven't talked to, there's Minority Builders Coalition. We haven't talked to them, but I've worked with them in the past. I'd be willing to talk with them now and see how we could partner with them. And if anyone has any other ideas, we're open to it.
That was two good questions, two really good questions. I've sat with Tal and Eric, and we've been working on this almost 2 years. And those are some of the things that, when we do our development agreement, because we have to write it with best effort language, they've already agreed that not only on the labor side, meaning the actual jobs, that they would commit to making sure that they hire from within the community. And when we say within the community, we talk about CRA balance.
Yeah.
But understanding that sometimes it's hard to get, a significant amount of representation from the CRA boundaries, we've kind of outlined this process. We look first in the CRA boundary, then to District 3 and District 2, which are the CRA areas, meaning the whole district, not just in CRA. But then if you can't find enough representation in those two districts, then you go to the city of Fort Lauderdale, and then beyond the city of Fort Lauderdale, try to find that representation. So primarily it's the CRA boundaries, but then we look, to kind of extend it beyond those boundaries, still getting the representation that we look at. They committed to doing that. It'll be best effort language in the agreements, but then also when it comes to the contracting opportunities for small business. We've thrown around a number, maybe 10, 15% of the full contract amount. They've all agreed that they'll do, again, best efforts. But best efforts has never been good enough. That's why we look to augment how we have a community benefit. And they agree to provide the land. We will make sure that there's representation and that there's a community benefit that's coming well for the CRAs.
They're willing to do the work. If you could see how they work with all the churches in the area to help find something that works for them. They're willing to take the time to do the work to find out how to grab vendors in the community.
And you mentioned minority builders
Yeah.
who have a number of small businesses in their organization that be
Yeah, I
ready.
worked with them.
Thank you for the answer. I would just add that, as far as the construction trade, there's not a shortage of man-made contractors. Working with your hands is what possible too. So, I would hope that the best effort. And in the past, I think it used to be like 20% set aside, but that would become a dirty word set aside for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that's why I say
Yes,
best efforts,
right. So,
within a certain zip code.
thank you.
Jeff Burns. I got a question for planners. So this is scattered over 5 years, correct?
Yeah.
5-year period. And the CRA sunsets in that period of time. It's
Well,
still
so here's the good thing about that 5-year five. The CRA was due to sunset this year.
right.
Our board allowed for us to extend for another 10 years with a look back in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna do
in 2 years, they're gonna come back and reevaluate, but we're gonna have this commitment, so this kind of helps to extend the
yeah.
this is the benefit, you know, because we'll have this obligation and
Especially if we go to the county.
so it's one of the benefits of being able to extend
Understood.
beyond.
Understood. That's what I figured. Another question. So, so I understand obviously that component of it. There was, and again, I'm new here, so I'm asking some questions.
You knew, but you're not.
Maybe. Yeah, you knew, you're not new. You guys don't know, so I apologize if it's a bit redundant.
It's the owner of 613.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, to declare my, I guess, I do have a conflict in the sense that I own the 613 building right in front of it. We obviously made
Neighbors.
big investment back in the day,
Yes.
and we're very close.
Quite successful. This is what's good. Our money.
It's been great, and I've known Tal for a while. I think it's fantastic. I know he's been in the neighborhood. So, but yeah, no, I asked about that because, or the question I have is, there are obviously numerous projects that had commitments that going up to the sunset date have failed to move forward with. Has there been a reallocation of those funds, or are they as long as the CRA is continually extended, they're going to continue to have that allocation?
No,
Okay.
there's no guarantee for anybody to keep, because we've defunded projects.
Yeah.
Actually, as a matter of fact, one that it's not this project, but this particular owner is very aware of.
Right.
So we will, we're continually evaluating our existing projects. And if there isn't any movement, if they're not spending money to advance the project, they're all on the clock.
Mhm.
They're all on the clock, and we'll look to make decisions. What we don't want to do is when we see that there is progress and they are moving forward. Sometimes it's slow.
Yeah.
We don't want to pull a plug on them because that can put us in a situation of liability.
Yeah.
With respect to the fact that they have been spending money and you can see that there is evidence of the project moving. They're going through the system. Some of them might be going through real slow, but they are making progress. I mean, we have again identified some projects that we have on.
Yeah.
So
Some of them started before you were. Or I guess got their word.
yeah.
Okay. Now I was just curious about that. I'm just trying to. So, listen, my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm familiar with the area and familiar with the neighborhood. I talked to the head of the neighborhood association today, who I know that Tal's been meeting with and working with them through the approval process, which is important. You got to keep in mind, when we came in there too, we were coming in somebody else's community and buildings. We got to be respectful of the people that live there, and I know that Tal's got a commitment to continue to work with them to make sure that they're informed and comfortable on the decision that's being made. But we moved our headquarters there when we finished in gosh, this was 8 years ago. Is that 8 years? 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 7 years ago. Yeah. Well, anyways, so I actually offered out of the building from 613 and have for a long period of time and witnessed all the change here. I mean, you know, some of these projects going up and restaurants, you know, further west. It's so exciting because, you know, this was there wasn't a lot of activity for a long period of time. And I think that you know, I've witnessed the site behind us, you know, is a camping ground for lack of better terms, or dumping ground. People come by there and dump their trash. And so we welcome a change there. And I think from the board's position, the devil's in the detail on how it's structured and looking at some of these community things. One of the things that we did was we hosted a job fair and advertised within the CRA district, and you know, didn't get a ton of people, got a couple of people. I mean, we were able to put some guys on the job that needed work like right then and there, right? And that was cool, man. It was nice walking on the project and seeing some people that we were able to help out. But no, I think you know, I think it's a good project, a good use of CRA dollars. I know Clarence will keep an eye on Paul and make sure it's a fair deal.
I think so.
Motion to approve the request.
Is there's Brian Stafford is the second. Any further discussion? We have a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Basint? Yes. Ms. Burrows?
Oh, I thought, I had a question. I didn't know you were voting because it goes in and out. Can I ask a question before we vote?
You started voting, Ms. Burrows.
Excuse me?
You started voting.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Quayle?
Yes.
Mr. Stafford?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Chair Biden?
Yes.
It's 9-0.
You just said Mr. Brown says
Abstain.
yes. Okay, as far as I know, there's no. Except you did not get the project sheet this time. I was advised that there were no changes. So I'm sure we'll have an update by the next meeting. Mr. Edwards, did you have something?
Yes, I know Mr. Burns brought this subject up, which I had in mind to bring up in the new business, is those companies are projects that we had just assigned monies to. And I've been hearing for the last year or so that they're on the clock, those that are not complete. I would like to see they establish 2 deadlines for those companies so we can draw some of that money back. If we're short of funds, we could probably use this money to dedicate it to a company that will, a project that will complete.
That was, as I had mentioned before, what I would say, I'd be very careful about establishing a deadline and look at each project. And we are in constant contact with the actual developers. There are some implicit deadlines, but as long as they're spending money and the project is being moved and it's moving forward, then to say, okay, we're gonna cut you off, regardless as to whether or not they're moving forward, that could potentially be a problem. But we do have, it's kind of like I mentioned before, we had a project and they were actually moving forward, but then there is a point to where if we've gone, for so long, and then the or the progress that you're making isn't really progress, it's just that, you're keeping it alive. That begins to bear itself out. And then, we can then set deadlines. But just to establish, I don't want to say arbitrary type deadlines, but believe me, we are intimately involved with these projects, and we're seeing the movement, and we understand what's real progress and what's progress just for the sake of trying to keep their grant alive or whatever, their loan alive. I get you, I understand it. We want to move some of these projects because we feel like there's funding that can be used on other projects. But I'll just say that there are deadlines. They're not explicit, but because we're working with them, there is a understanding and there's a working relationship with all of these guys that we're giving money to. And there's an understanding that there won't be just continuing to move on and on and on, delaying and kind of stalling. But I hear you and I understand what you're trying to establish. I want to do that, but I don't want to just set a hard deadline to say, if you don't do it by now, then you're out. Because potentially it can be a problem.
I would recommend that at next month's meeting, that have the board members really look at the project funding list. And if you have concerns about specific projects, they'll have discussion then.
One follow-up that I agree with Madam Chair, you hit it on the nail on the head. And also, have we ever pulled any money back from any of these projects?
I just told you we did the $15 million back. That was good. I mean, I didn't want to say it, and again, okay.
Yeah.
What I would rather do if any board member would like to sit down and discuss where we have a list of projects that we are, we've committed money to, and they are at certain points within their development process. If you guys want to come to put it out there like that and just make it a part of the open meeting, I don't know that that's the best way to do it, but I'm open to sitting down and having those conversations about who we're targeting to kind of say your time is up.
I respect you.
But any meeting, we're able to look at the project funding.
You can.
And see where the status of the project is.
So have an open.
Have any concerns, check with staff about those projects.
Yeah. I allow that. I don't have open.
I don't think you need a motion for that.
No, you don't.
You don't need a motion.
I respect Mr. Cummings. I feel a little bit of hesitance of providing us the information that Madam Chair just mentioned.
No, it's not happening. I'll give you whatever information you want. I have whatever conversations, but I don't want to have them open where it's subject to.
There's agreements in place, so it's probably best, more detailed conversation or just
Right.
directly with staff unless.
And
you have an open conversation.
This is the first month in a while that we haven't had the project funding, but only because there hasn't been change. And so at any time, you can always
Get that list. And it's about that, what we talk about. But, again, I like to respect our partners, to respect all of the folks that we're giving money to as partners. And I like to, if there are certain projects that you want to target, and then you have to have open conversations about, I mean, I don't know that probably is something that they may appreciate. Because again, we have real serious like we did with the developer that we took the $3 million from. We have a developer that we took, I don't want to start naming everybody, but, it happens and it's going to happen. So that's what I would say. It's going to happen and it has happened. And that was just last year, we took the $3 million from the hotel. Everybody remembers who that hotel developer was.
Okay, any other? Opening business? Public comments? If not, if I get a motion. All in favor? Well. Enjoy the rainy weather.
Thank you, Sonia. Bye-bye.